Well, you know what, Grant, that's a great, I mean, when we watch it on tape, it's really, it shouldn't happen if guys are locked into the game. Like those plays there at half court, I think it was I think 4 or 5 point game with what, under four, somewhere in there to go. We turned it over twice at half court. And when we are running, we always tell guys, you've got to always expect the team to maybe jump you at some point in time. And we had three guys that ran to the like we normally do when we're in transition, but they look back and they've got to see something's going on, and they didn't really react, and so they left Santi and Olivier there on their own, and that can't happen. But those baskets, there's just no defense, and that skews your whole defensive numbers when you give up turnovers, when there's just your offense turns it over and they lead to baskets that you can't do anything about it. But I don't understand it. I think we should be able to handle the ball better than that. But it's everybody being totally locked in. I mean, when we watch the tape, I ask guys, "What are you thinking right here?" And the obvious answer is they're not. And then you ask the question, what are you thinking prior to the game? Because everything that Kentucky did, we talked about it and expect it. And it goes back to you want players to get lost in the game. And I think that when guys are concerned about other things, whether it's scoring or not rebound, whatever it may be, you still have to have a short memory. You got to go from play to play to play. And to be quite honest, when we ask those questions, they don't have an answer. But the answer simply is you're not locked in to the game the way you should be. A lot. Again, we keep talking about when we turn people over, we're not getting enough out of it. I mean, we had a 3-on-1 break, and we didn't get anything. Matter of fact, we had a wide. I'd rather shoot it, or we had a chance for a lob, but we held on to it. They got back. In that possession, we turned the ball over. You've got to capitalize on those plays right there in the open court. And unfortunately for us, other teams are doing that against us when we turn it over. Well, I'll go back to this. A lot of us knew for a lot of guys, and I'm not making excuses for anybody because I know there's other people in the country that play with young players, but it goes back where understanding that every game is different, and that and I do think when young guys make a mistake, they have a tendency to kind of hold on to it a little bit. That's why you need so much consistency from your older players to settle things down for you. But you go back again, as much as we talk about taking care of the ball, that's one of our things that we talk about. I mean, that means shot selection, taking care of the ball, giving yourself a chance to get a shot every time. It's concentration, and it's understanding that every possession matters. And that's not, and you're not asking guys to be uptight. You're just asking them to protect the ball. And obviously, I've got to do a better job getting them to keep understanding it. I mean, when it all gets back to it, it comes back to me that, hey, I mean, as much as as many steps as they've ran, I've told them that. I said, now you know why I have you. I want you guys to be aware of how important it is to take care of the basketball. I think after we get back on the court today, we'll decide what we're going to do there. We're going to see what happens. I mean, again, I said after the game, we've got to get back to, and it's not one player. It's not. I mean, it's consistency. But I'd say, and I will say it, your older players have to be your most consistent players. They have to be. And I'm not just talking John. I mean, yeah, he's one of our older players. The guys, and you guys have followed us more closely than anybody. John, Santi, Josiah, Urosh. I mean, he's been around long enough. Olivier, VJ, those guys have been around the longest. And those are the guys that need and I'm not just talking in the game. I'm talking practice, everything that we do. Jimmy, I wish I could answer that. If I did, I'd fix it. We talk to them. We spend a lot of time with our guys trying to get them to understand. And The tough part is when we watch tape and the things that we talked about that we wanted to do, not only as a team but individually, when guys don't do it. And again, their answer is always, I don't know. And they should know. And again, that's on me, that if they don't know, it's on me. But I'm going to keep harping on it until they do fully understand, hey, this is what, when we say we need to do this, we need to do this. Or you need to do this. I mean, I don't think there's any question. I'll be shocked after the way the last couple games where he has struggled, that if he doesn't really make a real conscious effort to turn this around defensively. I mean, he's got a, you know, he and I sat on the bus and watched the game coming back. You know, we watched the whole film together, and he sees it. He does. He sees it. I mean, when I said, what do you see here? And everything that you would want him to see after watching it in a replay, he sees it. And now it's a matter if he can make himself do it. You know what? I've told these guys all year, they will just do what we practice. And again, are you baffled sometimes when we miss wide open shots? But it happens. I mean, I've seen other teams miss wide open shots. Would I like to see us shoot? And I do think we still think that we've proven that we can make shots if we'll let it come in the flow of what we're doing. If guys are so anxious to make a shot that they're rushing things, we won't shoot it well. You know, we won't. And we keep talking about, again, taking care of the ball. That is just not being anxious, just when it comes in the flow. And if we do what we're supposed to do offensively, it'll work. It'll work. But they, again, I think some of the people that have struggled with threes, they're shooting the ball. They're just anxious, and it's throwing off their timing and their rhythm.
One or two more if we got 'em. Mike?
With Vanderbilt, seems like a lot of Scotty Pippen scoring again, but other guys in the roles.
I think Jerry's done a terrific job. I mean, you look at he's building the program more and more in the way he has. I mean, obviously they've done a really good job developing players that have stayed with him and helped him and really find their roles and their niche. As you know, they shoot the ball well. But they have good balance. They run really good stuff on offense. They're changing their defenses up. You know, you can see a couple different defenses out of them. But certainly, you know, Scottie Pippen, preseason player of the year, and he gets a lot of attention. And for him to keep putting up the numbers that he's putting up is pretty impressive. But he's got some other guys around him, I think, that are really playing the roles that they need to play.
What's your level of concern with this team, or is it still something where it's January?
Well, I mean, it's still January, and I don't think anyone's played a more demanding start of the season schedule on the road than we have. But that's not an excuse. That's why we've tried to play such a tough preseason schedule. But we're going to do that anyway. But the fact is, it's been tough, and now we've got a chance. I mean, every game. I mean, I think we're on the road again against one of our in-state rivals here. It's tough. Every game's tough, and it's tough for everybody. We just happen to have to go on the road early with 3 of the top 5 picks in the league, and I like to think again that we've learned something, and that we'll continue to learn and know that you've got to play every single night, and you've got to be ready. And the consistency has to be there. The reliability has to be there from all of us, from me all the way down. It has to be there, that we know that we're going to be in a battle every single night.
Finish up with Rob.
Coach, there's probably others, because you've been doing this a long time, but how many former players on Jerry Stackhouse have coached against?
Oh.
What's that experience like?
Well, it is, you know, like you said, I've been doing it a long time, and you know, I tell people all the time, Jerry Stackhouse made arguably one of the top 5 greatest collegiate plays I've ever seen made. Not against us, thank goodness, but I saw it, and I actually used to show it to my team all the time, how far you could cover from the half court to the basket. He did it in 2 dribbles and reverse dunked the ball full stride. And but I thought I'd have to think about that. Rob, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of guys, even, you know, like I was really looking forward to the Memphis game, actually, because I have so much respect for Larry Brown, even though Coach has been around a long time, and to be honest with you, I've studied him a lot through the years. But Rasheed Wallace, I think, is on their bench too, and there's a lot of, other guys like that. But right now, I'd really have to think about it. But it just, again, you kind of putting a little bit of age on me there, but that's all right,
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, guys.